Well, tomorrow we'll end our quote-unquote first half of the season of Lent as we will wrap up the kind of the synoptic gospel portions of our Lenten reflection. And again, on Monday, which will have me all next week, next Monday, Father Kuna will be away. We're going to get into my favorite gospel, the Gospel of John. And so I can't wait to get to that. Yesterday I talked about the vice, the capital sin, or the deadly sin of vainglory. Today I'm going to talk about its cousin, that of pride. In fact, as I was describing vainglory, I realized that I was kind of also describing a little bit of pride with it. The two kind of go hand in hand. Maybe the subtle difference between vainglory and pride. Vainglory kind of seeks the glory of others, so it's the one who gets upset when they don't get recognized or appreciated for their task. It's the person who volunteers at the soup kitchen and then gets upset that no one thanks him or her for helping out. And so what do? They quit. Vainglory there just costs them their work of mercy, the work of service. So pride's a little bit different in that the pride is the turning away from God and the exaltation of oneself. Okay, so which can involve the appreciation and the recognition of others. So vainglory can contribute and feed into pride. But pride is probably the most dangerous one to fall into because often we don't know that we're in it. So vainglory, as I said yesterday, vainglory gets stronger the more that we succeed, the more that we practice virtue, the more that we do well. Vainglory and the sin of vainglory, the temptation gets stronger to us to what? To seek out our own selves, to seek out the glory of others. Pride, we don't know we're even in it. But it's a turning away from God, and it's the oneself trying to be one's own God. So it's the sin of Adam and Eve, right? They wanted to be like gods, but without God. Okay. In fact, Gregory the Great doesn't even include pride in his list of capital sins, because he says that all the sins are all rooted in pride. Pride's like the top, and then everything else flows from pride. Gluttony and lust and sloth, all those things are all part of pride, of one trying to be one's own master and kingdom without God. And so I bring it up today because I think it works beautifully with the gospel passage and with our first reading, which is what? Return to the Lord. And in the gospel passage, it's, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. There's your sort of remedy, your cure to pride. To think of less of oneself, and first and foremost, to devote all your strength and mind and attention to God. And instead of loving oneself, love your neighbor as you would yourself. So if we feel like we struggle with pride, where we feel as if the world, the kingdom, creation revolves around us, apply that same type of mentality of the creation revolves around us to now the creation revolves around my neighbor. Treat them as if, like you're their servant. And so there's part of the solution to this great and deadly sin of pride. Let us love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and our neighbor as ourselves. May God bless you.